Once upon a time, in a magical kingdom surrounded by sparkling rivers and lush green hills, there lived a kind and brave girl named Cinderella. Cinderella wasn't just kind to people, she also had a special way with animals. Her best friends were 4 clever and loyal mice named Jax, Gus, Kay, and Pip, who loved her dearly. But Cinderella's life wasn't as magical as her surroundings. After her mother passed away, her father remarried a cold and selfish woman who brought along her 2 spoiled daughters. When Cinderella's father also passed away, her stepmother forced her to work as a servant in her own home. Despite her hardships, Cinderella remained cheerful, always humming a song and dreaming of a better life. One sunny morning, a royal messenger rode into the village, his trumpet blaring a cheerful tune. He unrolled a golden scroll and announced, hear ye, the king is hosting a grand ball at the palace. Every eligible young woman is invited. The prince will choose his bride." Cinderella's heart skipped a beat. She twirled in excitement, imagining herself dancing under shimmering chandeliers. "I could go too," she thought aloud. But her stepmother and stepsisters burst into laughter. "You? Go to the ball? Impossible," snickered her eldest stepsister Daphne. "You have no dress, no shoes, and no place at the palace," added the younger sister Minerva. Cinderella's heart sank, but she refused to give up. That evening she found her mother's old dress in a chest and began to sew. Her animal friends helped her. Jax and Kay stitched ribbons, Gus carried tiny spools of thread, and Pip found sparkling beads. By nightfall the dress looked beautiful. When Cinderella showed her stepmother and stepsisters her dress, they were furious. "You can't wear that," Daphne screeched. Before Cinderella could react, they tore the dress to shreds, leaving her in tears. Heartbroken, Cinderella ran to the garden and wept under the stars. "Why is life so unfair?" she sobbed. Suddenly a soft golden glow appeared, and out stepped a woman with a sparkling wand. "I am your fairy godmother," she said, her voice warm and soothing. "Why are you crying, my dear?" Cinderella told her everything. The fairy godmother smiled. "Dry your tears. You shall go to the ball." With a wave of her wand, the fairy godmother turned a pumpkin into a magnificent golden carriage. She then looked at the 4 mice. "My brave little ones, you shall be knights for this special night." With a sprinkle of magic dust, Jax, Gus, Kay, and Pip transformed into handsome knights in shining armor. They bowed to Cinderella. "We will protect you, my lady," said Sir Jax, puffing out his tiny chest. The fairy godmother waved her wand again, and Cinderella's tattered clothes transformed into a breathtaking ball gown. On her feet appeared sparkling glass slippers that shimmered like diamonds. "But remember," said the fairy godmother, "the magic will only last until midnight. After that, everything will return to its original form." When Cinderella arrived at the palace, everyone turned to stare. She was so radiant that no one recognized her, not even her stepmother or stepsisters. The prince was captivated and asked her to dance. As they twirled across the ballroom, the 4 knights kept watch, ensuring Cinderella stayed safe from any harm. Meanwhile, Daphne and Minerva whispered furiously, "Who is she? Why is the prince only looking at her?" Cinderella and the prince laughed and talked, as if they had known each other forever. But just as the clock began to strike midnight, she remembered the fairy godmother's warning. "I must go," she cried, dashing out of the ballroom. As Cinderella ran down the grand staircase, one of her glass slippers slipped off. She didn't stop to retrieve it, and disappeared into the night. The prince picked up the slipper and vowed to find her. The next day, the prince sent his herald to every house in the kingdom with the glass slipper. "Whoever fits this slipper shall be the prince's bride," he declared. When the herald arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepmother locked her in the attic. "It will be one of my daughters," she hissed. Daphne and Minerva tried to fit into the slipper, but their feet were much too large. While the stepmother and stepsisters were distracted, the four knights sprang into action. Sir Jax and Sir Kay slipped through a crack in the door and found the key to the attic. Sir Gus and Sir Pip carried it up the stairs. Together they freed Cinderella just in time. "Wait," Cinderella called as she rushed down the stairs. "May I try the slipper?" The stepmother scoffed, but the herald allowed it. Cinderella slid her foot into the slipper, and it fit perfectly. She then pulled the other slipper from her pocket. The prince arrived moments later. When he saw Cinderella, he smiled. "It's you," he said. They embraced, and soon after a grand wedding was held. The four knights stood proudly by Cinderella's side, honored to be part of her journey. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, but chose to live her life in the palace with her new family. She and the prince ruled the kingdom with kindness, and Cinderella's bravery and kindness became a legend. And so they all lived happily ever after. This enchanting tale of Cinderella and her four knights teaches us that kindness, courage, and a little magic can pave the way to extraordinary adventures. If you enjoyed this enchanting story, subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories like this.